A very good day to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is Vriddhi Kumtekar, your host for today's episode of LUBM Smart Talks by Lincoln University of Business Management. Today we'll be talking about a very intriguing topic, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, also referred to as EI, is an ability to recognize, understand, and manage and use emotions effectively both in oneself and in interaction with others. In today's world, EI is more vital than ever. It empowers individuals to navigate complex social dynamics and fostering better relationships, communications, and teamwork. And in our society, becomes an increasingly interconnected and diverse, EI plays a crucial role in promoting empathy, collaboration, and mental well being. It's a key component for success in personal life, professional endeavors, and leadership, helping individuals adapt, connect, and thrive in today's multi faced, challenged life. To talk about this more in detail and to give you the exact emphasis on what EI is, we have a very honorable guest with us today. He's proven management consultant in the UAE, Sri Lanka, and Maldives, offering businesses, IT, HR, and education consulting along the corporate training. Fawas comes with an illustrious 23 years of corporate career, 7 plus years of consulting and training, and 16 years of teaching for various MBAs. He is pursuing in PhD Strategic Management and Leadership. Welcome, Mr. Fawas Farook. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you so much for this lovely introduction. More about emotional intelligence you have researched well.
So,
Thank you.
talking about EI, actually, I do not have any knowledge about EI. That's why it was very interesting when I got to offer this topic. So, I would want to know, when making decisions, do you choose to go with the heart or the mind?
Very interesting question. I mean, this is where the most challenges in today's world, because the dynamic business environment is posing so much of challenges in terms of pressurizing people to take spot decisions.
Yeah.
And that's where people are exposed to their leadership styles and the mindset game. Well, it's basically balancing. It's all about balancing between the mind and the heart.
Yeah.
If you talk about art and science, management is all about balancing between art and science, isn't it? So it's just like that. We anything is hybrid, so we have to be hybrid as well. Balancing the mind and the heart. Okay, when we talk about mind, we talk about the rational decision making. That goes with the logics, the rights and the wrongs, right? Which is right or which is wrong, or which is high valued or which is low value, financial or otherwise. A lot of logical arguments. Even it goes back to the history in talking about the rational research paradigms. And then there is something called emotionals. I mean, that means emotions. It's all about feelings and
Right.
like the heart, as you said. So how do you take decisions is the most crucial part. So let me give you a small situation where when you encounter a situation where the kid is asking for something or your mom is asking for something, you tend to get biased with your heart, isn't it? But at the same time, when it comes to your financial decisions, when you are taking a decision of which MBA program to go in, then the money comes part. The money part comes in. So some situations you have to be a little bit biased towards one thing. When I say balancing, it's not all about 50-50. So when the situation permits, you go a little bit biased on one side, but not forgetting the other side. That's the emotional intelligence part. You don't get carried away with emotions.
Nice. So it's like the art of balancing.
Exactly.
Right.
It is primarily the art of balancing. Well, I would also like to add two more elements into it, which is beyond emotional intelligence also, where some people get carried away with spiritual intelligence as well. I mean, actually we had this IQ. IQ is intelligence quotients, where rational decision making, logical arguments. When people were just behind IQ forever and ever, but then came the EQ part of it. It is also called as EQ. That means emotional quotients. And now even today's world is talking about SQ, which is spiritual quotients.
Wow. Okay. So new terms every
New
day
new
along.
terms, but the scenarios are the same, but different angles we look at. So people get carried away with some spiritual decision making as well. And then the final element is entrepreneurial decision making also.
Wow.
Some entrepreneurs take decisions just based on the gut feeling.
Right.
But you need to balance all these things. But in today's topic, if you're talking about emotional intelligence, primarily the difference between the educated and uneducated, if you see, one of the primary differences is they take the decisions mostly based on emotions rather than the rationale.
Yeah.
So the educated should have the courage to put the mindset into a block where they balance with this. That is the challenging part.
Very interesting. So my next question is, what are the key components or domains of emotional intelligence, and how do they impact our daily interaction and decision making?
Right. So I think you mentioned a few few of them in your intro. There are so many definitions. There are so many definitions. Some have 5 components. Some even go up to say 7 components. But Daniel Goleman, who wrote about emotional intelligence at least about 20 years ago, he put a very perfect framework into this. He just divided into 4 components. One is, okay, you need to be self-aware about yourself, right? So being self-aware comes the number one requirement to become emotional intelligence. You need to know about your own emotions, right? At which point that you get triggered, what emotions, at which point you get angry, at which point you get more happy. So this self-awareness is very critical in decision making, especially in today's context. So that is becoming self-aware. That is not only that. You also need to be able to manage your own emotions. So how to drive yourself a better to become better. You have intentions to grow yourself, to become a better leader. So what drives your emotions, you need to be aware, and then you need to be able to drive your own emotions as well. That's number 1. Number 2, managing your own emotions. The third and the fourth is about others. It's not only about your emotions. You have to be able to read and understand other people's emotions as well.
Yeah. Like suppose you have said something and you're thinking, oh my God, what will be the response of the opposite person? That also plays a very important role. So like you've got to think and speak, and then, it's all about the art of the mind.
Correct.
All in there.
And you are expecting, how would the others respond, and the reasons behind them also. The why question comes very critical. And then the final part is, how do you manage relationships? So the four elements are: one is, okay, being self-aware. Second is, how do you manage your own emotions? Third is the empathy part of it, how you are becoming aware of other people's emotions.
Right.
And then how do you manage relationships? Right? So these 4 elements, and then you ask the second part of the question is how this is helpful in today's corporate and a personal environment. See, if we take a corporate environment, there's a lot of corporate decision makings. Maybe it's in the boardroom at a high level, or at senior management level, or even at the ground level, operational level decision making. And you can have all the machines or artificial intelligence or whatever you have, but end of the day, everything is delivered and executed by people, isn't it? So people's emotions, understanding the emotions, the rationales behind them, and how we can guide them or divert them into proper decision making, effective decision making, is what is ultimately making the company's performances into a success arena, isn't it? So therefore, this is becoming very, very crucial. And not to forget, even on a personal note, say managing relationships between spouses. Everybody's talking about unhappy life. Primarily, either you don't know your emotions or you don't know your spouse's emotions. You don't know the reasons behind it, and you're not ready to understand. Those are the key reasons for these breakups and everything. Right? Even, relationship with your parents, relationship with your kids. All these matter a lot the moment you are ready to listen to yourself, ready to listen to the other people with empathy, things get resolved.
Wow, very insightful. So moving on to my next question, could you share some practical examples or stories that illustrate the positive effects of high emotional intelligence in various situations, such as workplace, relationships, or leadership?
Yeah, when you ask this, a workplace, it reminds me a very interesting scenario.
Okay.
Way back, I think somewhere in 2010 or 11.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was appointed as a general manager of a subsidiary company of a large insurance corporation. And then we were entrusted to manage the entire insurance company's treasury portfolio. And then being a Islamic finance entity, in fact, the chairman gave me a challenge saying, Fawaz, I know you are good at, managing treasuries, but, I want you to step into this Islamic finance and then write to the press. He knows my intellectual capacity a little bit. So he wanted me to write and publish the, Islamic finance indices, or rather the stocks from Islamic finance point of view. So I did the evaluation, and then I wrote an article, and then I came up with the Islamic finance stocks indices from Islamic finance point. I mean, in other words, the stock market indices from Islamic finance point of view. So when I wrote it, there were a lot of questions. I mean, I got bombarded with so many questions.
Oh, shit.
So then I literally got, I think I used the right word, rattled, whether I did the right thing, kind of a thing. And then I went to my boss, my group CEO, and he used a word, Fawaz, don't get rattled. You are getting so much of questions, mean you have done a wonderful job. And then you have caught the attention of the industry. So, and then, he told me, just respond to them professionally. What is there? I mean, if there is a mistake, admit the mistake. Otherwise, you justify whatever you want. I mean, the conversation that he had with me, more than the topic, everything, how he understood my emotions at that time and how he consoled and diverted my emotions into a more productive response gave me enormous amount of strength. I mean, I see this, lacking in today's leadership in many places, because people are very busy and then simply they give an answer and then go on. So this is still, I'm talking about, 2010 means 13 years ago. Still it's in my mind. So that leadership quality comes in, how do you manage emotions of your...
It's like a connection that you have with your employees. Really talks it all.
Exactly.
So important.
Very, very, very important.
A mentor and everything who's ready to sit with you, talk and sort things out.
Exactly.
These days, very few companies, I would say, you do it, because everyone is so busy. The world has got digital. Everyone is busy with so many things, and there's no times.
Very true. I mean, people get bogged into that busy life.
Yeah. Like they don't have time for themselves.
Forgetting the priorities.
Yeah, true.
I mean, there are so many stories we can go on.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on to my next question. On the flip side, what are some common challenges people face while trying to develop their emotional intelligence, or how they can overcome these obstacles?
Yeah, this is really challenging today. I mean, you mentioned one thing, like, people are busy.
Yeah.
I would say they're busy being busy.
True, agree.
I mean, they think busy or they pretend they're busy. I mean, busyness is nothing but, when somebody is saying that I'm busy, I couldn't talk to you, I mean, I don't believe in that, because, it's just the priorities, isn't it?
True.
Everyone has priorities. The key challenge is the priorities. They don't prioritize, right? They don't understand the importance of leadership.
Yeah.
They don't understand the importance of being productive. They just, try to fulfill. I mean, some of the challenges, like, the busy lifestyle, and also, to modern lifestyle. I mean, I'm not blaming the youth. I mean, they got used to so much of, busy, and then, different lifestyle, like, the fast food, right? So many things. Like, so I don't want to go into that too many things. But people have to be prioritizing the future, right? What do they want to achieve? That sort of intention has to be set right. And then, another challenge is too much of social media exposure.
Yeah.
They're losing the priorities. And they're trying to find shortcuts, right? Trying to find shortcuts. I mean, there are so many shortcuts, as long as it is improving your productivity, it's fine. But not at the compromising of quality. Right? So these are things that the challenges, even decision making has become, spontaneous spot decision making. People are not taking time to take good quality decisions.
Being a Gen Z, I can tell you, when I just recently graduated, I was given a decision, which company do you want to get? I got offers from so many places, and like they wanted immediate response. And that was like the catch. I was like, oh my God, what should I do? That's where emotional intelligence plays such an important role, as you just said.
Especially today's youth, this is one important challenge, actually. I mean, they need to, there are few people I have seen, even among youth, they are farsighted. because they are entrepreneurially far-sighted. They want to build the career, and then they want to build a business, or they want to get into serious jobs. There are people like that. Now you have to be future-oriented, right? I mean, to overcome those challenges, and you need to be ready to alter your certain habits
Right.
to become more productive, to become more future oriented. I mean, there are so many tips I can give, like habit in the sense, your work style, your personal lifestyle, your food consumption, daily exercises, journaling habits, reading habits. There are so many things that
So
you
many
can do.
factors which play a role.
So, because those are few tips that know how you can become more emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Trying to understand other people, listen to their stories.
Yeah.
Some
Like
people
I'm listening to yours today.
I mean, people become so busy because they don't have time to listen to other people's stories. Because these are little things that will help you to build empathy in the work environment. Therefore, it will help you to build good, strong relationships,
Right.
so that you become automatically a leader,
Yeah.
isn't it? Rather
course.
than just another co-worker.
Yeah. True.
So what is leadership is, you are influencing set of another people towards a goal. I mean, a simple book definition. But in a realistic scenario, to be a leader, you should have followers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without a follower, you can't be a leader. But then you can be a personal leader, true enough. For that, emotional intelligence is very helpful. And then to become a corporate leader or business leader, you should have set of followers. I mean, people won't listen to you or follow you unless otherwise you are ready to listen to them.
Right.
Very
Very well
simple.
said. Yeah, absolutely.
Unless otherwise. Because trust and relationship come together.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are not ready to listen to your coworker or your subordinate, how do you expect them to listen to you? They will listen to you for a short term, until the job is done or until they find a better job.
Yeah. True. Agreed. Absolutely. I hope you all are taking down notes.
Isn't it? So those are little things that they need to do, leadership,
Yeah, very nice. Very, very well said. So, moving on to my next question. Emotional intelligence is often associated with self awareness, as you mentioned, and empathy, as you explained. But how can individuals improve their self awareness and become more empathetic in interaction with others in today's world?
Yeah, very true. See, in today's world, let me move a little bit deep into that. Say, become self-aware. It is not just happening to anybody. You need to have self-reflective thinking. It's called reflective thinking. You need to reflect on your own behaviors. At which point, how did I behave? At that point, how did I behave? What was the response? And what was the final result? Was it good or bad? So you should be able to reflect on yourself, number one. I mean, even before that, you need to have a growth mindset, and you need to have a very clear intention to grow yourself.
Yeah.
Without having that growth mindset and an intention to grow yourself, nothing will move. You will be just, I tell this to my kids also. You just want to float on the sea or like a piece of wood on the water, or you want to become another ship to drive yourself.
Choose one.
Choose one.
True.
So if you want to become a ship and then you want to move towards a particular direction, right? Reflect on yourself, build your capacities. I mean, you identify your weaknesses. This is the first point, as you said in the emotional intelligence. You should be able to identify your emotions. And not only that, you should build capacities after identifying your own emotions and analyzing your strengths and weaknesses through your reflective thinking, and then consciously build capacity. How do you consciously build capacity? You can do journaling in the morning or
I
in
do
the
that.
night. Yeah. No, journaling is, okay, you must be doing that. Journaling is not to write to-do list. Journaling is all about, a reflective notes. Like, okay, I did that yesterday. I will not do it today. I will practice meditation today.
Yeah.
I will do that today. I will not do that today. Right? Or I will consciously listen to some people today. Taking a note.
Yeah.
right? No, I will listen to that story today, so that no, I want to speak to at least two people, or engage with some social activities.
Yeah.
These are little tips to help not only becoming self-aware but also build empathy on other people, and then consciously become part of these team activities,
Yeah.
not become just a solo player.
Yeah.
In the corporate world today, people just come to office, fulfill their job, and they are done.
Yeah. 9 to 5.
9 to 5, and after 5 they are not available is a
Not
different
available.
story.
Yeah.
Some people say no, we have to balance work and life, no, so therefore after 5 I don't listen to I have to listen to my family, no. So this is not just a cutting off, it's in the mindset. The balancing has to come in the mindset, not with the cutting off of time.
True.
In my personal view.
Very, very well said.
Right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In your professional life, have you ever encountered a zone where you were flustered with so many decisions and at such a less amount of time, you had to give a response? How did you manage that pressure?
Okay, let me give you I have had enough of situations like that.
Okay.
I mean, I worked in the resort back in Maldives,
Oh, wow.
right, for about 3 years as a senior finance consultant. They are implementing ERP systems and so many things.
Okay.
So highly pressurized situations, because we had to report to both the UK office and US offices, right? And then I had to work, submit reports to my director sitting in Maldives next to my office before 5 o'clock, and then the question from UK will come right now after 5 hours, and then from US will come after 12 hours also.
Time zones.
So time zones differences I had to go through, and amidst all that, sometimes I don't get the right information for me to collect and do all that. So sometimes you get serious issues. What I do is consciously, this was after my MBA, so I had this capacity there at that time. So what I do is I quickly take a break. I just keep everything. The moment I feel that I'm getting pressurized, I'm emotionally pressurized,
You're too overwhelmed or something.
I'm overwhelmed, that I'm unable to meet these requirements, consciously I take a break.
What does your break consist of? Just relaxing?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
So what I do is, because in the Maldives, the beauty is it's within a resort.
Right.
So my walk away, to my room.
Okay.
So just go to the room, right? I listen to some old songs, or or have a cup of coffee,
Okay.
or just walk around the beach. Sometimes it has happened in the nights also to me.
Really?
So I have just I was all alone there. So I have walked out to the beach and then stayed there for a couple of minutes, or 10-15 minutes, and then just looked at the waves, and then come back and then start doing the job. So some critical decision makings, like following my MBA and then getting enrolled in my PhD, and then certain decisions of those levels. So different activities are possible. Sometimes you talk to a friend.
Yeah, of course.
Right, talk to a friend, reflect on your decisions. This helps. Sometimes you go on your own, or sometimes talking to a friend is also becoming very helpful. Or sometimes if you have a good boss,
Yeah.
talking to that boss is also good.
Right. Who would be your mentor in all the situation? Like, do you have, as you mentioned, talking to your friend, do you have like a particular friend or a family member or someone who you always like ask questions if you're
Yes,
stuck?
I do have a 35-year friendship.
Wow. God bless that friendship. Really? So you like talk to him all the time?
Seriously, all the time.
And he gives you like the right decisions always.
I mean, I don't expect a decision from him.
Okay.
I just want to share my feelings and thoughts, and then
Like if you're on the right path or
relax a
not.
bit.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then sometimes it takes decisions. Sometimes it eases my emotional level.
Okay.
So that helps me.
So he helps. He's like a calming factor for you.
Exactly. Another important thing also I do is, next friend is reading books.
Very nice. Who's your favorite author?
Stephen Covey.
Really?
Stephen Covey, Daniel Goleman. I have so many books, The Power of Subconscious Mind by Dr. Murphy.
Okay.
Right, even, Simon Sinek's videos, YouTube videos are enormous.
Nice.
So I have so many authors, I can go on.
The list is never ending, huh?
Never ending.
Okay. I hate to say this, but we're coming to our last question for today.
Okay.
Many organizations now prioritize emotional intelligence in their hiring and leadership development process.
Yes.
What advice would you give to companies looking to assess and nurture EI in their employees and leaders?
Yes, this is very very critical question actually,
Yeah.
because let me say this, seeing organizations at different levels, even in my consulting career, especially at SME level. I mean, that's where the real situation is.
Yeah.
Because the large organizations, they have set leadership styles, and they have enough budget into leadership development and things like that. But the SMEs are struggling. And that's where the chunk of people working and contribution to the economy, everything happens there. So that is why I want to address that part. And also people working in that SME sector, they
Yeah.
also take serious note. SME, I'm talking about not the smallest organizations, but then the small and medium sized organizations.
Okay.
And they are on the transition stage,
Yeah.
especially on the transition stage. Now they need to set two things right. First of all, right, of course, the balance comes underneath that. Number one is they need to have a good leadership model, right? Especially the leaders, because the second comes as the culture, because culture follows leadership, right? Culture follows leadership. So therefore, number one is leadership. The leadership styles that the top people set will set the stage for the remaining people.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So in terms of leadership, now you saw my example of my boss, my group CEO, and then I have seen similar situations in few others as well. And I have had a very bad example of a boss's situation back in Saudi Arabia, where I worked
Okay.
back in 96, 97
Wow.
period, right? Also, I mean that was an example how not to be a leader.
How not? Oh, okay. That's
Another
interesting. That's another side for discussion.
Exactly, yeah. So see, people. I mean, my boss in the previous insurance company says this all the time. People don't leave organizations; they leave leaders. They leave bosses. If I am resigning my job, I'm not resigning from my company because I'm not happy to work with my leader. That is the primary reason. That is the untold reason.
Absolutely.
Right.
Very well
So
said.
therefore, leaders must set the right, leadership style in place. I mean, I can go on. I mean, this is a huge list, and followed by the culture, the decision-making styles. How they are, empowering people, how they are building leaders. See, some leaders, especially in the SME sector, they become leader because they think I am the leader here, so I have to be the decision-making authority. Not really. If you empower people to take decisions, they will become leader, and the company will become better. They will perform better. So by this way, you are helping them to become more emotionally intelligent as well. So that will set the stage. And from this will set the, when I say set the stage, this will set the culture. In fact, my PhD thesis, I mean, as you mentioned the topic, it's talking about strategic management and leadership styles.
Yeah.
I mean, there again, I'm talking about how leadership sets the culture and set the strategic management environment for the organizations to perform better. This is my core theme. So my suggestion is, my advice is, set the leadership style number one. Based on that, set the culture, organizational culture right.
Yeah.
Look at all the attributes. Now take a stock. Take a stock of what is happening. Sometimes it may be difficult to change it overnight.
Yeah.
Right? So for that, have some brainstorming sessions. Sometimes, you may be finding it difficult to do it by your own. So get some, intervention by consultants or experts, right? I mean, not only for expertise, but also for independence.
Right.
Because you yourself, trying to drive a change, the people will see it politically in a different angle,
Yeah.
isn't it?
True.
So therefore, bringing some independent, body with expertise and with some independence set of eyes, so that will help. And then finally, a continuous, monitoring and set the intentions right. Perseverance, is very important. It's not just
Yeah.
this. This is another mistake many organizations do. they come with a blast saying, okay, we are going to change, we are going to do that, we are going to do that, a couple of training programs, and then slowly things go back to normal. This is where they
Like you
fail.
started and you're going back. You should
Exactly.
always look forward.
Just a soda
True.
bottle,
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
like a soda bottle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that kind of a proper, setting the stage, intention right. I mean, let me come back and compile or compare the individual and corporate on a common platform, right? Individual also, they need to set the intention right, growth mindset, right? Have a plan, consistency, right? Reflection, all that is there, right? A similar line can come to the corporate side also as well.
Okay.
So as a corporate, you set the intention, okay, next 5 years where we are going to be, and then how my leadership style is going to be. Okay, keep your objectives in terms of your growth plans and all that. In order to drive that, from a people's point of view, from a corporate perception point of view, how you're going to take. So automatically your organization will bloom.
Wow. You shared really good insight on emotional intelligence. I had zero knowledge about it, and now I'm happily and proud to say I have a lot of knowledge, Mr.
Thank you.
Fawaz has said today. So, for my personal experience as a fresh graduate, what advice would you give to a fresh graduate who is like looking into a proper job market, and what advice would you give to him or her when they come to like interview tips would you give? How do you supposed to communicate with the person who's interviewing you? What are the setbacks and what things a person should keep in mind before applying to an agency?
Thank you so much for asking this question. Actually, I mean, you touched on a very crucial point in communication. I always say this in many of my training programs. I mean, what you say is very vital at the interview, or talking to your manager, or talking to your mother, or anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. What you say is very critical, but how you say that is even more critical. Right?
Right.
I'm not talking about the tone and tenor, but also understanding the other person's expectations, understanding other person's emotional situations. Communicating that is becoming very critical, because how they perceive is in your hands to a greater extent. Why? Because you have a clear understanding of what the expectations are. I'm not talking about you politically mold it to suit the person. No. To the intention, to the objective of the communication. My another lifetime mentor, a marketing guru, he used to say that the effectiveness of communication is more of how you communicate rather than what you communicate.
Exactly, the tone and everything,
Right?
how
so
you do it.
coming back to your question, a very brief advice or to today's younger generation to take decisions. Set your intentions right. Have a long-term plan. When I say intentions, you don't go into, okay, let me take this now for the moment and then, think about it later. No, have a clear plan. Okay, this is my long-term plan, and how in today's decision is going to help me for the next one. So have that intention right. And then when you go with decision-making scenarios, be prepared. Don't go, panicking last-minute preparation. Sure. So the level of preparation is very less in today's thing. This is not a blame, but this is the scenario.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
People just trying, they're cool and calm, until the last 5 minutes, and then try to grab everything and go. The chances that you will fail is very high.
True.
So prepare yourself is number 2. And then, of course, when you go there, right, be ready and calm. This is where your emotional intelligence come into play, right? Being calm, and then don't panic. I mean, these are tips that the parents also tell.
Yeah.
But there is a way how to prepare.
Yeah.
That is where, my advice comes in, right? Preparation comes, I mean, let me give you one more example. I have had this, bad situation of, even my mid-career, whenever I want to make a presentation, there is butterfly in my stomach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody has
every
that,
time
right?
before doing anything.
So I consciously make some decisions, having warm water. Even before this, I wanted
before
to have...
the session as well,
I wanted to have some warm water. That is a very good practice, right? Having warm water, and then be mindful that, you will get into this situation and be ready for that.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, oh, I'm going to have this, what am I going to do at that point?
Yeah.
So be ready for that. So those are little tips. I know I can talk. If you allow me to talk, I will continue to talk about it. And that's my passionate area. Definitely, I do training programs on this, and I have 2 days, full days training program on emotional intelligence
Wow.
alone
Amazing.
for corporates. So concising that to this short time, it's challenging to me as well. But I believe, I have given some insight.
Of course, I definitely have learned a lot. I'm pretty sure the viewers and listeners also have seen a lot. So, and that's the end of our very interesting discussion
Thank
today.
you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fawas, for sharing your thoughts and on this topic with us. And as a new listener, I have totally understood what emotional intelligence is all about. And for our listeners, if you would like to share your own experiences or ask any questions, please feel free to connect with us on the LUBM Middle East Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook page. We can continue this conversation online. Until next time, keep learning with Smart Talks, powered by LinkedIn University of Business Management. Thank you and have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much.